Hello, children. Today we will revise the ninth lesson of history, heritage management. India's cultural heritage is unparalleled in the world. India has one of the largest geopolitical expanse and one of the greatest volume and diversity in heritage. We can find some of the best specimen of our heritage in the museums of the other countries. In this lesson, we will study the impact and need of protecting, conserving, and showcasing our built heritage. Let us learn the topic sources of history, their conservation and preservation. In that, let us study oral sources of history. Oral sources of history, like folklores, have no written language. It is transmitted by word of mouth and consists of prose, poems, songs, myths, rituals, etc. Till 4000 BCE, all literature was oral. With the advent of art of writing, it became possible for cultures to preserve their history. Spoken words was transcribed. It means to make a written copy. Spoken words can now be recorded on audio or video tape or through newer digital methods. Early method of recording sound included phonograph cylinders, gramophone records, and magnetic recordings. People involved with the preservation and conservation of the oral history need to undergo some necessary training. First one, sociology and anthropology. Sociology and anthropology study human social interaction and cultural practices. Next one is social psychology. So, social psychology studies group as well as individual behavior when reacting to the social environment. Next is mythology and linguistics. There have been many accounts of the origin of language in the world's mythology. Next is library science and information technology. Now it become easy to collect different library resources, collaborate and create library network and provide easy 24 by 7 access. Next is history and historical research method. Historical method has limitations in applying proper chronology to clarify the data. So the aim of the study was to introduce an ethical approach for the analysis of data obtained from oral history. And next is writing of research reports and articles. Written sources of history. Written sources of history are the sources of information available in written form, like coins, copper plates, inscriptions, official records, correspondence, photographs, diaries, etc. Let's learn how are historical documents preserved. These documents are very old. In order to preserve these documents, the environmental factors need to be considered like light, humidity, heat. They are cleaned using soft brush and neatly kept in archival plastic bags. But the document which has traces of charcoal and ink are not kept in these bags. Documents with colored photographs are kept in acid-free folders. Old documents are kept safe from pests and insects. In short, complete mechanical and chemical process of cleaning takes place for the conservation and preservation of historical documents. People involved with the preservation and conservation of the written sources need to undergo some necessary training. They should have knowledge of various scripts like Brahmi, Modi, Persian, etc. Brahmi script is found in the inscription of Mauryan king Ashoka. Modi script is found in Marathi literature, and Persian script has evolved over 3000 years ago. They should have knowledge of traditions, social organization, culture, dynasties, etc. Knowledge of various style of painting like Madhubani, Warli, etc. and school of art like Gandhara school of art. They should also have knowledge of various types of paper, ink, and color used in writing the documents. Knowledge of various stones and metal is also essential. They should have knowledge of chemical used for preserving and conserving the document. Knowledge of how to manage grand scale exhibition in museums and art gallery is also required. And lastly, writing research report and articles. Material sources of history. Material sources of history include coins, places of worship, royal seals, artifacts, ornaments, etc. Let's learn how our material sources, that is artifacts, are preserved. Artifacts are the key to deciphering the archaeological recording. They are collected and classified according to their historical date and type. Later, they are taken into the lab for complete process of cleaning so that they can be conserved and preserved. Later, some are selected and arranged for the exhibitions. Then, research articles are written and published on them. Fossils of plants and animals are also classified and kept for exhibitions. People involved with the preservation and conservation of the material sources need to undergo some necessary training. They should have knowledge of archaeological method and theory and also about history of ancient civilization. Knowledge of sources of material like stone, clay, minerals, metals, etc. is required. They should have the knowledge of chemical needed to clean the artifacts. They should also have the knowledge of various art of school, knowledge of making replicas, that is model, and fossils. Knowledge of managing exhibitions, writing research reports and articles is also necessary. Let us move to the topic of some famous museum. But before that, let's first understand what is a museum. A museum is a place where collections of valuable and interesting objects are kept and shown to the public. The Imperial Museum, also known as Indian Museum at Kolkata, is the biggest museum in India. We have a museum at Mumbai known as the Chhatrapati Shivaji Museum. Previously, this museum was known as Prince of Wales Museum. The world's oldest museum was Ani Galdi Nana's Museum. This museum was built by a Babylonian princess 2500 years ago. The first public museum in France is the Louvre Museum in Paris. This museum is situated in Paris and was established in 18th century. This museum has the world-famous painting of Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. Presently, this museum contains more than 3,80,000 artifacts. This museum is one of the largest museums in the world. The British Museum, England. The British Museum in England, London, was established in the 18th century CE. This museum was founded in 1753 and is London's most popular museum. We can see a unique comparison of world cultural treasures under one roof. This museum has the world famous Rosetta Stone, it's a clay tablet, and Egyptian mummies. Presently, this museum has collection of about 80 lakh objects. This museum was freely open to the people of England. National Museum of Natural History or Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. This museum was established in 1846 and was opened in 1910. The screen dome shape of the museum is comparable to 18 football fields. It has more than 14 crore, that is 140 million natural science specimens of fossils and remains of plants and animals, minerals, human fossils, etc. This museum is located at Washington, D.C., United States of America. This museum has Hope Diamond. It is one of the most precious diamonds in the world. This diamond was found in Kollur mine of Andhra Pradesh, India. It also has the Star of Asia sapphire, one of the largest sapphire in the world. This museum contains the Saint Ocean Hall, which has 674 marine specimens. This features the exact replica of the living North Atlantic white whale. Let's move to the museums in India. The first museum is Indian Museum. The first museum in India, that is Indian Museum, is the earliest and the largest multi-purpose museum in whole Asia. It is the ninth largest museum in the world. This museum was established in 1814 CE by Asiatic Society of Bengal in the city of Joy, Kolkata. It has the finest collection of contemporary paintings, sacred relics of Buddha, Egyptian mummies, and ancient sculptures. Presently, this museum has 35 galleries like art, anthropology, archaeology, etc. etc. This is also a library and a book house. Next one is the Government Museum. Government Museum or the Madras Museum is a museum of human history and culture located at the Government Museum Complex in Chennai, India. This museum was established in 1851 and known as the second biggest museum in India after the Indian Museum. It is rich in archaeology and numismatic collection, that is, coins. There are some universities which offers courses, that is degree and diploma courses in museology. They are National Museum, Delhi, Maharaja Sayajirao University, Vadodara, Kolkata University, Kolkata, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, and Jivaji University, Gwalior. Next museum is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya. This museum was founded in 1905 by some prominent citizens of Mumbai with the help of the government. This museum is located at the heart of South Mumbai near the Gateway of India. This museum was previously known as the Prince of Wales Museum. It was renamed in 1998 after Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of Maratha Empire. The building is made in the Indo-Gothic style of architecture and a mixture of Mughal, Maratha and Jain architecture also. The museum building is surrounded by palm trees. This museum has 50,000 exhibits of ancient history as well as objects from foreign lands. This has personal armor of Emperor Akbar, coins of Shivaji Maharaj and Chandragupta Maurya. Libraries are important cornerstone of a healthy community. Library give people the opportunity to find jobs, explore medical research, experience new ideas, etc. Libraries are the storehouse of knowledge and information. It is an important defender in the fight against misinformation. Libraries perform various tasks like collecting books, arranging them systematically, conservation and preservation of those books, etc. Let's learn some earliest libraries of the world. The Royal Library of Ashurbanipal. This library is one of the most important archaeological discoveries ever made. The Library of Ashurbanipal consists 30,000 clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform. Cuneiform is a type of writing used in ancient Mesopotamia. These tablets were discovered in the ruins of an excavation in Iraq. This library is known as one of the most precious source of historical material in the world. The library at Takshashila. The meaning of Takshashila is cut stone or Taksha rock. Takshashila is one of the important archaeological site in Rawalpindi district of Punjab, which is now in Pakistan. It is considered to be the first and oldest university in the world. According to a fact, students paid up to 1000 coins in advance to receive education at Takshashila, and there were thousands of such students from Babylon, Greece, Syria, and China. Students came from all over the world and paid large sums of money to Indian teachers for education. The university had an excellent library. The library collection included works on Hinduism, political science, literature, medicine, and philosophy. The city of Gandhara, including the university and the library of Takshashila, was destroyed during the invasion of the Huns in the middle of the 5th century. 68 subjects were taught at the university, and the minimum entry age as per the ancient text was 16 years. The Library of Alexandria, Egypt. The Great Library of Alexandria was one of the largest and most significant library of the ancient world. The library had many papyrus scrolls, estimated range from 40,000 to 400,000. Papyrus is a material similar to thick paper that was used in ancient times as a writing surface. It can also refer to a document written on sheets of such material, joined together side by side and rolled up into a scroll, an early form of a book. Alexandria came to be regarded as a capital of knowledge and learning because of the great library. It is said that this library was burnt once and destroyed. Saraswati Mahal Granthalaya. Thanjavur Maharaj Sarfarojji Raje Bhosle's Saraswati Mahal is located at Thanjavur, Tamil Nadu. It is one of the greatest libraries in Asia. The Saraswati Library is situated within the campus of Thanjavur Palace. The Maratha ruler Vyankoji Raje Bhosle captured Thanjavur in 1675. He and his successors expanded Saraswati Mahal Granthalaya. Sarfarojji Raje Bhosle contributed the most in this expansion. The library has on display a rare collection of palm leaf manuscripts and paper written in Tamil, Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, English, and few other languages. Archives. Archives are collection of information known as records. They are letters, reports, minutes, registers, maps, photographs, films, etc. Archives provides first-hand information or evidence related to historical events. In general, documents from the archives are supposed to be very reliable. The first official archive of India, that is the Imperial Record Department, was set up in 1891 in Kolkata. In 1911, it was transferred to Delhi. The records are classified in 4 categories: public records, oriental studies, manuscripts, and private records. Governments of every state in India maintain independent archives. The archives of Maharashtra state government has branches in Mumbai, Pune, Kolhapur, Aurangabad, and Nagpur. Encyclopedias. An encyclopedia is a work of reference containing a number of articles that deal with a specific topic or range of subjects. Let us learn the benefits of encyclopedia. People use encyclopedia to broaden the knowledge on subjects of interest. Readers can satisfy their curiosity and gets motivated to read extensively. An index at the end of the encyclopedia is very convenient for the readers. It is well organized in alphabetical order. The availability of subject encyclopedia is very useful, especially in research areas. Types of encyclopedia. Encyclopedia can be divided in 4 types: dictionaries, comprehensive encyclopedia, which is also known as Vishwakosh, encyclopedic literature, which is known as Koshashadraksh, and indexes. Let us start with dictionaries. Dictionary is a book or electronic resource that lists the words of a language in typically alphabetical order and gives their meaning. Types of dictionaries are comprehensive. dictionary that include only certain type of words, dictionaries of terminology, etymological dictionaries, thesaurus, dictionary of idioms and phrases. Next is Comprehensive Encyclopedia, Vishwakosh. The main importance of this encyclopedia was to enrich and broaden the Marathi language and literature. There are two types of Vishwakosh. The first one includes all subjects under the sun, for example, Britannica, Marathi Vishwakosh, etc. And the second one includes information on one chosen subject, for example, Bharatiya Sanskriti Kosh, Vyayam Dhyana Kosh, etc. Encyclopedic literature, which is also known as Koshashadruksh. It comprises scholarly articles providing information on all possible aspects of one or more predetermined subjects. For example, we have yearbook like Manorama, Times of India, Maharashtra Jeevan, Volume 1 and 2, etc. And the next one is indexes. Indexes usually occurs at the end of the encyclopedia. It makes the information in a book easily accessible. Indexes are the alphabetical list of individuals, subjects, places, reference books, etc. Encyclopedia and history. Encyclopedia have existed around 2000 years and have evolved considerably. They have progressed in written form to print. Encyclopedia and history put stress on objectivity. It can be a medium of strengthening national identity. They are looked upon as outstanding achievements of a society. Encyclopedias on history-related subjects. There is a rich tradition of creating encyclopedias on history-related subjects. Bharatvarshiya Prachin Aitihasik Kosh by Raghunath Bhaskar Godbole is the earliest encyclopedia. 23 volumes of Maharashtriya Dhyanakosh, edited by Sridhar Vyankatesh Ketkar. Bharatvarshiya Charitrakosh is another important encyclopedia. 3 volumes were published, namely Bharatvarshiya Prachin Charitrakosh, Bharatvarshiya Madhyayugin Charitrakosh and Bharatvarshiya Arvachin Charitrakosh. Sthalakosh. Sthalakosh are the encyclopedia which gives information about historical places. Under Sthalakosh, Sthanapothi is an encyclopedic text which is composed by Muni Vyas of Mahanubhav sect. It describes all those places visited by Chakradhar Swami, the founder of Mahanubhav sect. Another one is Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh. Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh was compiled by Siddheshwar Shastri Chitrav. It provides information about various places mentioned in Vedic literature, Kautilya Arthashastra, Panini's grammar, Valmiki Ramayan, Mahabharat, etc. Next one is Vishwakosh. The first Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Honorable Shri Yashwantrao Chauhan, initiated the compilation of Marathi Vishwakosh through Maharashtra Rajya Sahitya Samskriti Mandal with a view to enhance the sphere of Marathi language and literature. Next is Bharatiya Sanskriti Kosh. 10 volumes of Bharatiya Sanskriti Kosh were edited and published by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. Another one is Samadanya Kosh. There are encyclopedic texts explaining the terminology of history. Such texts are very useful for the teachers of history. Children, here I end with the lesson. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.